everyone. So today we will tackle the local and international language policy. In the Philippines, we choose the MTB-MLE. In international, we choose the language policy of Indonesia. First, let's tackle about the MTB-MLE, or what we call Mother Tongue-Based Multilingual Education. It is a program in the Philippines which is used as a medium of instruction from kindergarten to grade 3. It was officially implemented in 2012 as part of K-12 curriculum in order for the learners to help learners learn and understand the lesson faster. And aside from that, the aim of this MTB-MLE is to improve the literacy, cognitive, and reasoning skills of the students. They also chose the 4 aspects of development, which are the language development, cognitive development, academic development, social-cultural development. And next is, despite of the positive impacts of MTB-MLE, a challenge still persists, like teaching resources, inadequate teacher training, difficulty in translation, multilingual environment. Some research also shows that there are teachers who says that it is really difficult for them to switch another language into the other subject. It is really difficult for them. The next, let's tackle about the PIBBI in Indonesia, the language program in Indonesia. It is a program for those people who want to learn and aim to become proficient in Bahasa Indonesia. Sorry for that. The Bahasa Indonesia, it is the language of Indonesia, their language. Then PIBBI consists of language tutorials, culture arts classes, seminars on a variety of interesting and current topics about Indonesia. It also consists of 6 levels from beginners to advanced. Okay, next let's show the... Now, for low beginners, these are the people who don't have any knowledge about Indonesian language. For beginners, they have basic knowledge. They know the basic knowledge or basic language of the Indonesia. Low intermediate, they have somewhat moderate know the language of Indonesia. Intermediate, they know something about it. While the low advanced is they have this knowledge, they are good in language skills. Advanced is they know the argument, how to write something, how to do this and that. Like advanced level, they are in the advanced level. So also the PIBBI also offers cultural classes like batik making, traditional cooking, traditional dance, and traditional music, which are the gamelan and angkor, in order to help learners to still learn about the cultural heritage of Indonesia. And these 2 programs this will help learners, students, and those who want to learn language.
First, language development. If MTB-MLE will be successful, it will be a strong educational foundation in the language they know best, as it will create a bridge to the institution where they are in. While cognitive development, the students will not just stay in the who, what, when, or where, but through MTB-MLE, they will become more knowledgeable enough and increase their higher order thinking skills. As yet, they can learn lessons because they can understand easily the language used. Moreover, MTB-MLE can help to improve their academic performance in a way that students will achieve the necessary competencies in each subject area, which leads them to achieve their academic goal. Furthermore, in socio-cultural development, MTB-MLE helps to promote and make students be proud of the language and culture and respect their culture and the others. Additionally, PIBBI is a program for several universities like in US, Japan, and Australia, and this program is available in 2 to 6 weeks formats with regular session twice a year.
In these 2 programs, MTB-MLE and PIBBI, is a great help for students to learn, and not just to learn, but of course they will become proficient and they will accept the other language of different countries and accept the different cultures. For that, Ms. Wasilio will continue the discussion.
So now let us tackle the literature review of the international and the local language policy of the Philippines and the Indonesia. So in mother tongue based multilingual education in the Philippines, these are its challenges and implications in bilingualism. So in the study of Dan Gomez 2022, mother tongue based multilingual education in the Philippines has these challenges and implications in bilingualism, with in the study grounded in theories emphasizing the cognitive benefits in learning one's first languages. Okay, so according to the study, Philippine language has been influenced by colonial rule, with Spanish and later English, which imposed as the dominant languages, which created language barriers for many students. Not just that these two dominant languages have influenced, but also the 170 languages of the Philippines, which contributed to the implementation, which also complicates to its standardization. Next. So its limitations lies in its disadvantages, which MTB-MLE faces challenges due to the country's linguistic diversity. With over 170 languages, leading to difficulties such as dialect variations, lack of textbooks, and inconsistent instruction. So there are a lot of challenges that arises with this linguistic diversity in the Philippines. So in another study of Maria Cristina Gallego and Leoward Allen Zubiri of 2011, it states that evolution of language policies in the Philippines has significantly affect or influence its educational system. Since that the other language policies, such as the 1974 Bilingual Education or BEP, which aimed to develop proficiency in both English and Filipino. However, it marginalized many regional languages in the other parts of the country, leading to linguistic barriers in learning. So while policymakers advocate for language inclusivity, educators and communities struggles with the challenges arises during its implementation. The Philippines' linguistic diversity adds to complicate standardization, which leads to language learning issues such as dialect variations and lack of instructional materials.
Even with these challenges, the study states that MTB-MLE has shown indications that students who begin education in their mother tongue demonstrate higher comprehension and critical thinking skills than those taught in second language from the outset. However, research also suggests that continuous reforms of policies, linguistic adaptation, and community engagement are needed to the implementation of MTB-MLE.
So in analysis of grammatical interferences in the oral communication presented by PIBBI participants. So in this literature review, we will review about the PIBBI, the language policy of Indonesia. So this study examines the grammatical interferences experienced by participants in the program Intensive Bahasa and Budaya Indonesia or PIBBI while learning spoken Indonesian language. It emphasizes that even at a level 5 proficiency, learners still encounter difficulties, particularly verb usage. So it is the major challenge of this language policy, which accounts for 30% of their errors. So this is the major challenge that hinders the successful rate of the policy. So additionally, the study encourages learners to engage with native speakers outside the classroom, as real-life interactions enhances practical language skills skills and improve their ability to use contextually relevant vocabulary. The findings align with the theoretical perspective in second language acquisition, supporting the idea that active linguistic exposure and cultural immersion are key to overcoming language barriers. So, since that they are hindered by verb usage, they immerse students or their learning in their culture and the real life situations outside school. So, they incorporate their learnings with real life situations.
As students expand their vocabulary, their ability to select appropriate words improves. However, spoken fluency remains challenging. To address these issues, the study suggests two pedagogical approaches. First, instructors should place greater focus on verb usage, ensuring learners understand structural differences between English and Indonesian. This can be done by providing targeted instructional materials and fostering language sensitivity through comparative analysis. Second, speaking activities such as storytelling, descriptions, and role-playing should be incorporated into the curriculum to offer learners opportunities to practice oral communication in real-time scenarios. Additionally, the study encourages learners to engage with native speakers outside the classroom as real-life interactions practice practical language skills and improve their ability to use contextually relevant vocabulary. Historically, the study reflects Indonesia's post-colonial language policy, which has shaped formal education by emphasizing structured language learning. Sociopolitically, PIBBI's framework aligns with Indonesia's international educational diplomacy, promoting Bahasa Indonesia as a global language while strengthening its cultural exchange initiatives. Overall, the study emphasizes the importance of combining theoretical language principles with practical, immersive experience to refine Indonesian language proficiency among international learners.
For the comparative analysis, Ms. Julie Mikisihan will further explain this.
So let's proceed to the comparative analysis of this two-language policy, which is the MTB-MLE here in the Philippines and the PIBBI in Indonesia. So this two-language policy aims to strengthen the educational system of these respective countries. And also, in comparing these two languages, let's focus on their objective, implementation, challenges, and its impact to the educational system. So first, I will explain to you the objective. So these two languages or this two-language policy is grounded in efforts to promote linguistic and cultural fluency, though these serve different audiences and contexts. First, the PIBBI in Indonesia, this language policy aims to provide learnings when it comes to skills, because they're into teaching batik making, traditional music, martial arts, and even dancing. More on skills, and because this language policy not just to help those people living in Indonesia, but of course those foreign students who wants to learn skills or who want to improve themselves. While the MTB-MLE is an international policy that uses students' native languages as the medium of instruction in the, just like what I mentioned earlier, it's not international but local policy that uses students' native languages as the medium of instruction. In the early years of formal education, aiming to improve literacy, preserve indigenous languages, and support more effective learning outcomes among Filipino children. Since, as we all know, technology is rampant these days. That's why this MTB-MLE not just to help students learn, but to preserve what is the cultural heritage of our country, which is this native languages that keeps on dying because of the presence of technology and of course the other languages from different countries. So next, let's proceed to the implementation. So PIBBI is delivered through well-equipped learning facilities, experienced instructors, and a 6-level proficiency structure that ranges from beginner to advanced. So PIBBI, due to that their country is more on or more richer than the Philippines, so they can provide a well-structured learning environment for the students, teachers that have enough knowledge to teach the students, and of course, more advanced facilities that can surely help students learn not just something that they want, but more on advanced learning. So, on the other hand, the MTB-MLE involves nationwide curriculum development and multiple mother tongue training for teachers in vernacular language instruction and integration into the formal public school system. Because this MTB-MLE, it's not just more on positive impact, but it is a challenge because not all teachers have this ability to teach different languages in a classroom, wherein it is hard for them to teach different language, and with large amount of students and teaching different languages in one day. And it's not just that, because the facilities here in the Philippines is not enough to support what is intended for the students, wherein there's challenges that occur. So during the implementation process, it's not easy for the teachers to teach these different languages without the proper textbook or even facilities for the learning to be easier and faster. So the challenges and the impact will be discussed by Miss Joyce Cornell.
I will continue the discussion of Miss Gisihan. So, let us discuss and compare the challenges between the two language policies in the Philippines and Indonesia, which are the MTB-MLE and the PIBBI. So, MTB-MLE encounters significant logistical issues such as a shortage of teachers fluent in local dialects. For instance, in some regions such as the Cordillera Administrative Region, teachers struggles to teach the mother tongue itself due to limited fluency in indigenous languages. So many educators are trained and taught in English and Filipino. That is why they find it difficult or hard to transition to teaching indigenous languages such as Ifugao or other local dialects. And also, limited educational materials in multiple languages. So for instance, some rural schools often lack textbooks and other instructional materials. For instance, in Iloilo, teachers have reported that they struggle to find Hiligaynon textbooks. That is why they are forced to make their own instructional materials. And lastly, occasional resistance from stakeholders who favor English or Filipino. For example, some parents or some administrators who prefer more English and Filipino, believing that these languages offer better career prospects. And on the other hand, the PIBBI must ensure consistency in teaching quality across cohorts. So, since this PIBBI is adapted on other languages, that is why they find it difficult to maintain uniformity or to maintain consistency in their teaching standards. And also, they struggle to adapt instructional methods to diverse cultural backgrounds and maintain engagement through a balance of language and cultural content.
Finally, the impact of these programs reflects their objectives. MTB-MLE has shown promise in improving early literacy and educational equity in linguistically diverse areas of the Philippines, although its long-term effectiveness is still debated. PIBBI, on the other hand, strengthens Indonesia's soft power by equipping international students with the language skills and cultural knowledge to engage meaningfully with Indonesian society. While MTB-MLE is a policy-driven educational reform aimed at national development, PIBBI is a cultural diplomacy tool that enhances Indonesia's global presence. Despite their differences, both initiatives highlight the value of language as a bridge to deeper understanding and more inclusive education.
For conclusion, the findings show that the two programs might help the learners learn language and reach to be globally competitive. Despite their promises and aims, challenges remain, which lead researchers to come up with recommendations and strategies to sustain its effectiveness. For MTB-MLE, our recommendation is our enhanced teacher training, improved learning materials, continuous learning, community, and engagement. By this, we can ensure that the MTB-MLE implementation will be successful. While for PIBBI, we recommend expanded course offerings, enhanced technology integration, partnership with other countries, more cultural activities. Just like for MTB-MLE, we can ensure that this recommendation of us will lead to the successful of these programs.
First, enhanced teacher training. It is important that MTB-MLE should give teachers more training in order to let them be proficient in other languages to ensure that teachers are well equipped to teach those languages. And to make it more successful, it is necessary that learning materials are all ready and complete. It is important that all materials needed to teach the mother tongue of the students are complete in order for teachers to easily teach the subject. However, continuous learning is also important in order to see if learners really learn, because if not, teachers can change their strategy. Lastly, community engagement is recommended to strengthen the collaboration between school and community. First, expanded course offerings. It is really better if PIBBI will add more courses in order to ensure that learners will become proficient not just in language but in all aspects of Indonesia. Though Indonesia has good instructional materials to teach the language, it is still better to integrate technology for interactive learning and remote participation. PIBBI already has countries that they have partnered with, but a stronger institutional partnership will also help to enhance the program's credibility. Last, add more cultural activities to deepen cultural understanding.
And that would be all. I hope you gain insight from us.
Bye.
Bye.